Welcome back, guys, to the Career Reinvention Podcast. I had to grab me another cup of coffee here because I want you guys to have all of this. I'm currently working on two major projects, a product launch and another possible product launch. And I know that I'm going to be tied up in that, but I felt compelled to give back and help where I felt as though I could, and where spiritually I got the message. Hey, you have all you need. Go help my people grow. And that's the foundation I live off of each and every day since February the 14th, 2020. So, as I have my coffee, I want to again welcome you back to the Career Invention Podcast, the space where your layoff isn't the end. It's not. It's the beginning of something powerful. It's all in how you see it. I'm Dr. Marilyn Carroll, and I created this limited series for one reason, because losing a job shouldn't mean losing your identity, because your value isn't tied to a title, and because every setback holds the seeds of reinvention. And if someone shows you how to find it, go find it, use it. And that's what I'm trying to do, help you to find it. Now, this 6 episode journey through the mindset, skill set, and strategies, my goal is that it will help you not just bounce back, but move forward with purpose. As I stated in the first podcast, we're here to talk about resilience, and we talked about that during the first podcast. Reframing, income redesign, AI, branding, and action plans without the fluff, guys, without the fluff. So, wherever you are in your story, uncertain, hopeful, or just starting to breathe again, this podcast is for you. So let's start this reinvention on episode 2. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Now, this isn't the end, it's the turning point. This isn't the end, it's the turning point. Welcome back to the Career Invention Podcast, where we navigate layoffs, pivots, and purpose with honesty, courage, and strategy. I'm Dr. Marilyn Carroll, and as we talk about building career resilience, the inner strength to navigate the storm. Today, we're going to dive deeper with episode 2, Reframing from Career Setbacks. Because let's be honest, guys, setbacks are more than professional. They hit us emotionally, financially, even spiritually. But here's the truth. This is the truth. A career setback doesn't mean you failed. It means something failed to fit. And in this episode, I want to help you see your setback not as the end, but as the turning point in your story. Okay? We're not here. The more you talk about blame, I want to pause for a minute and talk about that. The more you talk about blame with people and, say, oh, it's this or that, or administration or management, you can't do that. You really can't. I watched this episode called Years and Years. It was set in Europe. And the grandmother, the matriarch of the family, at the end, as they were having problems and going through things like we're experiencing in our world today, she said to them, everything that's going on is us. It's because we did this. We played a role. She said, I played a role. You played a role. She went to every around the room to all of her kids and grandkids and said, we all played a role in this. And that's what I see here. We all played a role in this madness that we're experiencing right now. So in this episode, I want to help you see your setbacks, not as the end, not at the end, not as an end to it, but as a turning point in your story, in our story. Because what matters now is collaboration and how we all work together to build something greater. Yes, It's so important for us to work together. No more of this is just about me. Just like this episode wasn't about me. I had to get up and go and do what the Spirit, Holy Spirit told me to come do. And that's what I'm doing here. So let's start with this. You don't have to be fine right now. Losing a job, being passed over, or stuck in career confusion hurts. It does, as I stated in the first episode. So let's name it. Let's name this for you. What did this setback shake in you? Take a moment and write that down. What did this setback shake in you? Pause the podcast and come back after you've written that down. Next, confidence, identity, belonging. What was it for you? Remember, this all started with Maslow's hierarchy of needs and a post that I made, and we're continuing on. Confidence, identity, belonging. Pause the recording for a moment and write that down. Was it public, quiet, or was it your decision or made for you? And many of us, it was made for us. So pause for a moment and write that out. Wonderful. Because healing starts with clarity, and clarity starts with naming what this moment has done to you. Now, we're going to take another moment. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to be honest with yourself and write this out. What emotion is sitting at the center of your career setback? Is it fear? Is it grief? Is it betrayal? Is it shame? Is it confusion? Is it relief? Again, fear, grief, betrayal, shame, confusion, or relief. Write it down. Pause the recording and write this down. Now that you've written it down, what emotion is sitting at the center of your career setback? Fear, grief, betrayal, shame, confusion, or relief. Now we can move on. Now we're going to talk about the power of reframing. Now let's talk about the power move, reframing. It's a power move. Remember, I want you to take back your power. Reframing isn't a toxic positivity. It's a strategic storytelling that we have to do. It's how you take control of your narrative. Yeah, you got to take control of your narrative, okay? Here are some examples. I was let go. Instead of saying I was let go, you said the role had run its course for who I was becoming. The role had run its course for who I was becoming. The next example, they didn't choose me. Instead of saying that, it's clear, it's a cleared space for me to choose myself. So I chose myself. Because some of you did choose yourself. You decided, I'm out of here. I failed. No, you didn't fail. Instead, I found my friction point, and now I know what to build next. I found my friction point, and now I know what to do next instead of saying I failed. Reframing gives you your voice back. You have to reframe stuff all the time. It gives you your voice back. If you don't want to be the victim and you want the power, you have to reframe things and how you see them, how you say them, how you feel them. So let's do a quick reframing exercise. I want you to get a pen and paper, and if you don't already have one in front of you, And I want you to write a raw version of what happened. Get real with it. Get pen and paper or click on your computer and go to Word or Notes or something or your phone and write a raw version of what happened. What happened? How did you, what happened? How did it happen? Then write the version from your future self, 3 years ahead, wiser, more successful. Because I want you to see what could possibly be. And if you have to come back to this exercise, come back to it. But pause for a moment and write down the questions. Yes, I do have a journal, but remember, I'm doing this on the quick and the fly, and I'm just following the message the spirit gave to me to do what I need to do. I don't have time to, I got to put it together and I'll put something out there. I just got to figure out how I get it to you. And in a way that doesn't cost you a lot because you are about to deal with a lot of outflow of capital. All right. So I want you to, again, we're doing a reframing exercise here. I want you to write a raw version of what happened, raw, RAW. And then I want you to write the version from your future self, 3 years ahead, wiser, more successful. My years ahead included, even though I went to teaching full time, things didn't go like I wanted to. I became a dean. Things didn't go like that, like I wanted to, because the company didn't help me sell my condo or my house. I had to do all of that. And um, I wanted to try something new. I wanted to give back. But in doing that, it cost me dearly. But in costing me dearly, it educated me on another need. It rebuilt me, refocused me into something that I am today. This powerhouse that I think I am today, and having more power over my mindset and more time. I remember my kids saying to me, Mom, this is the happiest I ever seen you, because I was constantly working hours and hours. And I apologize to those poor people that work with me. We worked a lot of hours, and I'm very grateful and thankful to you. But we worked a lot of hours, and I never really had time to breathe. And God saw fit to give me the energy and the time and to set things up so I did have time to breathe and think and build and become more of the asset I needed to be for the world. So pause for a moment and take the time to write that vision, and we'll come back. Okay, welcome back to, we're going to talk about mindset shifts for moving forward. Here are 3 mindset shifts to carry forward. 1, you're not starting over. You're starting from experience, insights, and strength. Again, you're not starting over. You're starting from experience, insights, and strength. 2, everything counts. That hard season, those invisible skills, the quiet perseverance, they're all part of your value now. Yeah. You didn't know you were building value? Yeah, you were building value. I was building value in leadership. I was building value and communication skills. I was building value in collaboration. I was building value in perseverance. I was building value in my Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I was building value in how I saw the world. I was building value in my children, in my family, in my season. I was building value. You are too. As I was working, I was getting to know people. I was making connections I could call back on. I was building relationships. I was building knowledge and wisdom and skill sets. I was building value. And that value carried over into what I do next and next and next. It's like it's like going in the kitchen. And this week, as I was thinking, people know me, they know that when I get into these moods, these thought processes, and I'm trying to figure out a problem, And this problem started on my coaching call. And after that, it seemed like my phone started blowing up with people. You know how God brings you a message, and then and then behind that message comes something more drama or something. It's good drama, but the more drama behind it, and then you got to do something with it. Well, that's where I was this past week, which led to this. Um, Number 3, reinvention isn't a detour, it's a design. You're about to design something powerful, impactful. Guys, remember, you're allowed to evolve, to pivot, and outgrow what no longer fits. But anyway, I was saying I had to cook today, this week, and I had this, and this is what we do a lot of time with our talents. I had this huge roast that I had bought at Christmas time, and I was going to make it for the family. And yeah, this roast sirloin cost about $120. It was the most beautiful piece of meat you've ever seen, for me, I'd ever seen. And it could probably feed about $120. It could probably feed about 60 people. And I decided to cook it. And I went back to Julia Child's recipe on the beef with the wine and the sauce and the seasoning and stuff on it. What do you call it? Beef bourguignon. And I made that. I did it. I made it. I had some wine. I hated the wine. The taste was horrible. And so I was like, you know what? I can cook with that. I can cook with that wine. I can cook that roast. I had garlic. I had all the other seasonings in the refrigerator. And I said, good seasons that I bought. I like to buy fresh herbs and spices. And I packed that thing around there, and the garlic and the onions and the other seasonings that I put on there and that wine. And I let it simmer as I thought about things and as I wrote, and it cooked. And then finally, when it was done, it was like gorgeous, 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 gorgeous piece of meat. And I cooked it to perfection. And it just sliced and it melted in my mouth. It was just so great. And I was going to cook some potatoes and stuff with it, but listen, I didn't make it to the store. And and so I put that thing together and I sliced it, and I was like, oh my gosh, uh, I'm not a beef eater, but that beef was marvelous. Now, what do you take from that? Well, I was putting things together. I was reinventing me into that dish. I took what I had, and for us, it's our skills, our knowledge, our experiences that we already have. And we start building something from that. And we pull everything in because everything counts. And we take that and we redesign it into what we want it to be. Yeah, we redesign it because you know what? You're not the only one that's suffering. And through that suffering, we can all help each other. Yeah. What you just been put through is setting you up so you can help others, but you gotta build community and do things with a community and help one another and see what kind of resources you bring to your community. And you really, to me, you can't sit there and be just in your own shell. That got away from us. We're so focused on just ourselves. Sometimes I think we went too far, and now we're forced to come back together as a community to collaborate and help one another. So that's it for our second episode. Our next episode, we'll explore how to future proof, our career, not chasing job titles, but by learning to read the signs of what's next, to upskill with intention, and to align with growth industries. But for now, I want to leave you with this. Your setback isn't the story, it's the spark. And your comeback is already underway. Okay? Your comeback is already underway. Now, again, you've just taken one more step in your reinvention. And again, maybe it was a mindful shift, maybe it was a moment of clarity, or maybe it was just a reminder you needed. You are not starting over, you are starting from strength. The journey is yours, but you don't have to do it alone. Come back to our next episode and we'll keep building with honesty, strategy, and belief in what's still possible. And remember, you're not behind, you're becoming. And that becoming is powerful. See you on the next episode of Career Reinvention.